compare and order decimals. So they want us to take a look at these two numbers and decide which one has a greater value. Now on the surface, you look at it and you'd say, oh, well, 36 is larger than 4. But it's not necessarily just about that. It's where those numbers fall in their place value. What is the surefire way to really make sure you know that you are comparing decimals correctly? What's the one thing that you can do to make sure you're comparing them correctly? Eli.
Divide, like put them in different sections and number places.
Okay, what you're saying is right. We just got to say it the right way. Yeah. Yeah, line them up. So, 4/10 here, 3600s here. So as we work our way from left to right, the first place where I see a larger number means that that's the larger number. So I scan and I say, okay, they both have a 0 in the ones place, but this has a 4 in the tens place. That's good enough. What could I do after the 4 that might make them a little easier to compare so I don't get confused and think that's 4 and that's 36? Yeah. So now when you look at, oh, 40. Oh, I get it. Based on the 4 in the tenths place, a 0 in the hundredth place to make it 4. Oh, I see. That's easy. Okay. That's essentially it. 2 minutes. Done. I'll give you some to try. Here, let's order some. That's fun. 7/10, 2/10, 3500ths. Order them from least to greatest. Okay, so now the same is true here. When you have to order them and you've got a bunch of them, if you want, if it's easier for you to see, line them all up. And then, if you want to add zeros to make everything even, which then is the smallest, that's the smallest, followed by that one, and that one is the largest.
Wait a minute, that's 0.3.
Do it again? Do another one?
Yeah. Thank you.
Or you just want to move into the next lesson?
Next lesson. Yeah, like I have like a whole class.
Huh?
Whole class.
Whole class vote? Oh, whole class full. Oh, you'll get plenty of practice with those, trust me. Do we want another one of those or not? All right, here we go. So here we go. If you were confused at all, start left to right. They're all the same whole number. Check that first and foremost, because on your assignment, they might throw in a different whole number altogether, in which case it should be pretty easy. Now, here we go with, I've got a 2, a 0, a 2, another 0. So my smallest is going to come between the 9.02. Look at, they're the same up until that point. What should I add here if I'm really not sure? Which one is smaller? 020 or 024? This one is smallest. Then that one's automatically the second. Right? Now here I'm going to add zeros. Now I've got a 9.2, 9.20. Now the 0 or the 9, which one's smaller? And there you have it. So 9.02, 9.024, 9.2, and 9.209. To Caleb. Well, remember I can add as many extra zeros at the end as I want. And it just helps to Caleb, it just kind of helps keep them all even so I can just compare them all the way up and down the line. And then the first number I see that's different or smaller, like here, they were all 9s, right? So I couldn't really tell if there was one that was bigger or smaller than the next. But then as I moved over to the 10th place, I had a 2, a 0, a 2, and another 0. Well, I know that 0 is smaller than 2, correct? So that's why I looked at this one, this one and this one first, and then compared them from there. 0, 0, same. 2, 2, same. Now, if I have this 0 that I added, I can compare this 0 to that 4. And say, oh, 0 is definitely smaller than 4. That means this is my smallest one. Okay? Pull out that worksheet for 1-3. You should have it. I don't know if yours is blue or a different color. But I ran off a bunch of different colors, so. So numbers 1 through 12, 1-3. Use less than, equal, or greater to complete each statement. Okay? Any questions on how you would do numbers 1 through 12? Yes, ma'am? 13 and 14. Order each set of decimals on a number line. So watch, please. Help you with this. A 0 and a 1. Okay? And then they give you each of these. That's 0.1. What's the next one going to be? 0.2. The third one? 0.3. This one's going to be 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and then finally 0.9 before you get to 1 whole. So use that as a guide for yourself when you put those numbers where they're supposed to be. Now, nothing is labeled. So none of these are labeled as anything. So if I'm going to put down 0.2, watch. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nice point on it. And I'm going to make sure I label that point 0.2. You don't have to label them all, but just make sure you have a point and a label for the ones they're asking for. So that would be 0.2, that would be 0.6, and 0.5. Do the same thing with number 14. Okay? Now again, that number line is set up the same way. But if I'm going to put down 0.26, where am I going to put that on my number line? Is it going to fall directly on one of the lines that's already there? So where would 0.26 come in between? It's going to come in between the 0.2 and the 0.3. Think about it. If I had 0.2, 0.3, and then I had 0.26, if I added zeros, would 26 not come in between 20 and 30? So it works the same thing with the number line. All right. Now 0.3 should fall somewhere on there, 0.5, but 0.59, it's not going to exactly fall on the number line. 15, 3 points are graphed on the number line below. Write the statements comparing 0.3 to 0.5 and 0.5 to 0.7. In other words, what they want to know for number 15 is this. They want you to set these up. They want to know how does 0.3 compare to 0.5? And they also want to know how does 0.5 compare to 0.7? If you can find a creative way to put it all into one sentence, that's all the better. Okay? So let's just do 1 through 15 for tomorrow. Okay, we won't get into 1-4. I was teasing. So 1 through 15. Alexis.